Hey, I'm Frey, this is 2 Ounce Whiskey. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing an in-depth review of a single barrel from a distillery that I really love. Let's go.
This is where I'd put my YouTube intro if I had one, bro.
So the distillery I'm talking about is Frey Ranch. I'm sure you've heard about them, but if you haven't, here's what they do. They have a ranch out in Fallon, Nevada, where they have a farm. They grow the grains, they do everything from beginning to end on their ranch. I'm talking grain to bottle. You can go to this ranch when you do a single barrel pick with them, which Jason, who did this single barrel pick, he's gonna come on later and tell us about his experience going to that ranch, doing the pick, meeting everybody there, going through all the details. It's gonna be great. I've had other Frey Ranch single barrels, like a bourbon pick, but I think this is the first rye pick I've ever had. One, because I'm not that big of a fan of ryes, and two, Jason's a friend and he did it, so I got one. So his pick he did, this is a straight rye whiskey coming in at 62.15% or 124.3 proof, coming from Frey Ranch, obviously. And it says here the mash bill is 100% slow-grown winter rye. Let's give it a shot. It all starts with a cork pop. I really love these toppers from Frey Ranch. They are heavy. They got the logo on it. This is a nice topper. Let's pour it out. When doing reviews, I love using glasses that have these little smaller openings on the top. It helps me nose better. That being said, let's start with the nose. As you know or will know, I am not the best at nosing, so I do my best, okay? Sometimes all I get is the alcohol up front, so a tip someone told me was blow in here. Supposedly that gets a lot of the alcohol vapors out, lets some of the actual aromas in. So where I'll start is, when I am smelling a rye, there's one thing I don't want to smell, and that is it coming off like potpourri, like really herbal, minty, that kind of rye I don't love. This is not coming off like that. Getting the grain, a little sweetness on the nose. Overall, I would just say pleasant. I like this nose. Moving on to the palate. So first thing I do with a high proof whiskey like this, you want to get your palate warmed up. Just take a sip. First sip is really just getting your palate acclimated to what's about to happen. Not really gonna be picking up on much of the flavors right now. So second sip, third sip, letting it aerate. When you do the tasting, I'll show you what that means. That's really when you get a lot of the flavors. Second sip. Completely different. So second sip, I'm getting a lot of that like candy sweetness. There's the caramel that's really up front. By aerate, what I mean is that if you're kind of sucking out of a straw, you make this like gurgly noise up in the front where the tongue is. I'll show you. It looks stupid, it sounds stupid, but it does aerate, get some more flavors in there. The flavors come out different. It's sweet, it's caramel, it's like buttery. Mid-palate has some of that oak in there. For 100% rye mash bill, what I'm not getting is that stuff I don't like. So the winter green, mint, herby part of ryes, I don't get that here. This is very much a bourbon drinker's rye. So as I keep sipping, I'm focusing on different parts of the experience. So now I'm trying to focus on the finish. I'd say it's an average finish, doesn't last super long. Mouthfeel isn't like overly oily. I would say of all of the ryes that I've tried in my whiskey experience, this one is probably the one that comes off most caramely. It's like this toffee, like caramel candy, something that's going on that I'm really digging. All right, so my boy Wayne, Drink with Wayne, you can find him here on YouTube. He uses the Tequila Matchmaker App. You can see there its little orange icon. They have a really good rating system, so I'm gonna use that for my reviews. What can I say? We stand on the shoulders of giants. So the ranking system goes like this. It gets aroma from 0 to 25, it gets flavor from 0 to 30, finish up to 25, drink again, yes, maybe or no, recommend, yes or no, and then value. So let's go through this. We had the aroma, I said it was kind of average. Again, I'm not very good at this, so out of 25, let's give it, I thought it was good, it was pleasant, 19. Flavor, really liked this flavor. For a rye whiskey, coming off caramel, butter, oak, toffee, love that. Out of 30, let's go 26. Finish, this is where I thought it was average. This one, it wasn't super long, flavors didn't like dramatically change, it was just kind of a continuation of the same. I'd say it was good, and that is a 20 on their scale. Drink again, Yes, that's a 5 out of 5. Recommend? Yes, that's a 5 out of 5. Value. This one is tough because it is a single barrel offering. So on the high end of average, it's a 6 out of 10, and they say excellent is a 7 out of 10. So let's go 6. No, we're going 7. This was good value for a really good rye. 7 out of 10. Overall, that gives us an 82 out of 100 or an 8.2 out of 10. And for someone who doesn't love rye whiskey, that is very high for a rye. Now that we have the tasting out of the way, let's go to my interview with Jason. We're going to talk about the experience of picking this barrel. Let's go. All right, we have Jason here. Jason, who are you?
What's up, man? Bourbon and Smoke is, I guess, what I'm known for on Instagram.
Nice. So you are the one that brought this pick to the world. How did this all start?
Man, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while right now with the whole channel. Is I do a lot of barrel picks with River City and a bunch of other groups and stores and whatnot. But I wanted to do something that was a bourbon and smoke, like kind of exclusive, if you will, and wanted to kind of stay local, be true to the area of Northern California. It just made sense. A 3-hour drive up, is it west? I guess it's east, to Fallon, Nevada, right outside of Reno. With my good friends, Colby and Ashley, Russell, the whole team up there at Frey Ranch. And we made it happen thanks to the retail partner that I do a lot of stuff with, Roco Wine and Spirits.
Yeah. So you've done Roco picks. You've done River City Whiskey Society picks. How many bourbon and smoke picks are there?
2. So one was unofficial last year. I guess it's 2023. We did a Sazerac Rye. 2024 was this the Frey Ranch pick, and then working on something special for 2025. It won't be a rye; it's going to be a bourbon, but with a very well respected brand. Is all I can say right now.
This brand is located in Kentucky?
Yeah.
Do they have a release that is a straight malt whiskey?
Potentially.
Okay. So if you can connect the dots there, you might be onto something. All right. Okay, so I really loved this rye whiskey, which is not something I say often. This comes off like a bourbon drinker's rye to me. It's really buttery mouthfeel, caramel, toffee, not the stuff I don't like. Some of these ryes come off like wintergreen and mint and herb, and it's not for me. Like potpourri is what I said before. I hate that when it comes off that way, and this does not do that. Is that what you were intentionally going for when you picked this?
You know, I like the whole spectrum of rye. I think the beauty, you hit on some of those notes that some people really don't care for. But for me, I like rye that can be really earthy, herbal, minty. You can get a lot of baking spices and clove and white pepper notes. This one, so we tasted, kind of take a step back. When we were there, they picked out 6 samples, the master distiller, Russell, and one of the single barrel coordinators, Chris Dooley, really good friend, really well-respected bartender here in Sacramento, Northern California, but it kind of has transitioned. He's worked with Frey Ranch since it kind of launched them. And then Ashley, Colby's wife, and Colby both picked their own special bottle. Colby really was excited about this one that was very smoky. So he was like, hey, this can be perfect for a bourbon and smoke. And the potpourri note was kind of funny that you hit on that. Ashley had this Christmas kind of bottle, Christmas in the glass kind of sample. So that was those 2 picks. We got to pick through 8. And really, I remember the first time going through all the samples, I eliminated 4 right away. I'm like, nah, it wasn't for me. This one was sample number 3. What was the barrel number? 2576. And I remember just going back to damn, that one's really good. It's really good for rye, and it's really good for people who might not like rye. And I thought about it. I'm like, I don't care if it's bourbon or rye. I just want a really good whiskey. And I think that's always the goal when you pick a single barrel. It's what is really good? What is a little unique and different? Because single barrels need to be different than the flagship. Otherwise, why are you picking a single barrel? You want the uniqueness, something that is not your standard offering. This one, to me, I just remember going back to it. We got down to final 2. And then I walked out of the room. I think I even had a beer or something like that with Ro. And then I was like, hey, I want to go in blind. I took a step away for a little bit, came back, took one sip of just one. I was like, that's the winner. I'm not even going to taste the other one. And it was the same pick. So right off the bat, it was just from start to finish. So it kind of really worked out. And I didn't care that it wasn't really a rye forward typical rye, but a lot of fruity caramel notes, kettle corn, like funnel cakes, a lot of like really good flavors that I think Scotch drinkers would like, rye drinkers would like, and bourbon drinkers would like. So I think it was really just kind of a universal favorite over the whole flavor profile.
Kettle corn, excellent descriptor of what my mouth was going through. That's good. Kettle corn is right on. I would say I had a similar experience at Buffalo Trace where we all got it down to like two, and Freddie had us like leave the room, took a break. He like swapped them all out, and we came back and we all agreed. Like before we were split, and we all agreed on one. It was like the one that I did not pick the first time. Something about taking a break and going back and not knowing which one it is. It just like clarifies that this is the pick.
Yeah, because when you have something right in front of you and I like that one, I like that one, I like that one, and then you take a step away and it's still there, like your mind is going to be playing those tricks like, hey, this is still the one I like. When in reality, like your palate and your nose, and that's what's going to tell you like, do you still like it without knowing what it is? That's why I love doing a lot of stuff blind, and really kind of figuring out that last step when you're picking a barrel. All right, try to trick me, make sure that I like what I like.
Love it. Last question. I think what comes to mind for me when I think Frey Ranch is what's special about them is the grain to bottle. So when you go there and you're doing a pick, you get a sense of all of that. I'm guessing they take you to like the farm where the grains are. Like, what's that experience like?
Oh hell yeah! So it's I think we have a really good relationship with Colby. We've done River City probably 8 or 9 barrel picks with them. Done a bunch of dinners, cocktail events locally here in Sacramento. So we went up there. We got there around midnight, if you will. Had a cigar, hung out on. They have a house on the property we stayed at. And then at like 4 a.m., Colby was actually going to build he was building a trench for water to actually feed all the crops. And he's like, well, hey, we'll kind of get going like 9 a.m. I was like, hey, what are you going to be doing? He's like, well, we start at 4. We got to, because he's full on farm mode. So we're like, hey, we'll come out and join you. So like Ro and I and Chris, we went out there, and my other buddy Chris came, and we were helping. I got videos and pictures of us like in cement boots, like we're getting the cement going as it's coming off the truck, laying the trough down. It was a fun time, man. And then we went over there, and yeah, dude, it's funny driving around the whole ranch. You see all the crops that they do, and they literally do it all. Like it is truly a family operation, man. I believe that the family ranch our farm has been in there for almost over 100 years. So that soil has just been constantly turned over with all their corn, all their crops that they do. And right where we kind of were, you saw the rye crops, and they were kind of just sprouting a little bit. So you kind of saw like where it was coming from. But they literally do it all, man. There's nothing waste there. After the fermentation process, all the leftover reserve, there's a rancher that comes in, picks it up, then that goes feeds the pigs. Like it is truly like farm to glass. They're doing it all in house. I even think they could probably charge less if they use a smaller, less heavier bottle, but everything about it's so cool with the little coin, the topper. They do it all, man. It's really cool to see. There's some really big distilleries out there that don't care, but then you have like the kind of mom and pop craft distillers that really care about every little detail, and that's Frey Ranch.
Love it. That's so unique. That's like of the tours I've been on, you don't get anything like that.
Yeah. Even they do this thing called a harvest every year. Like what Colby does, he builds this pumpkin canyon, and you're just shooting pumpkins out into their field. Like it's great, man. So they have a tree that's over 100 years on. They have this massive swing right outside of Colby and Ashley's house, kind of facing the distillery. Yeah, man, it's really a fun, unique spot, man. And it's cool to see them grow, cool to see them expand. But super excited for this pick. One thing they started doing lately is more with their special releases. They did that top label. This is the first single barrel that they've done with the top label. So kind of unique to mine instead of the typical medallion you'll see down here. They did it up here as well. So that's their first time they've ever done that.
Very cool. Well, thank you for coming on. I'm just starting this YouTube page up. I want to do more stuff like this, interviewing people after I review their pick. I love it. Thanks for coming on.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's a YouTube thing that we
like and subscribe. I was about to say, where can people find you? Plug yourself.
At bourbon.and.smoke on Instagram, YouTube at bourbon and smoke YT. I'm on TikTok. Don't really use it much, but find me there as well. Bourbon.and.smoke. Man, it's fun to be part of this community. there's really good people around like you, man. I love following you. I love that your passion for rye has shifted a little bit. I think I'm going to take some credit in that and keep pushing you and making fun of you with the rye. But yeah, man, it's been a good experience. What Instagram and social media has, I think, done for a lot of us has been really cool with this industry, with meeting people, interacting with people, and sharing some good whiskey with friends.
Love it. Here's to more pours, and you are responsible for me liking rye a little bit more now. So congratulations.
Cheers, brother.
All right, cheers. And that is the review of the Frey Ranch picked by Jason Bourbon and Smoke. Thank you so much to him for coming on. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. Please do all the things. See you in the next one.